Welcome, everyone. My name is Jessie, and we're going to study Nehemiah 1 today. So, I sent a link last week. We didn't have it, but a link with a video of a lady talking about Nehemiah 1. That was a good prep work. There's a lot of background information here. So, we're going to play Jeopardy. But before we do that, we're going to watch 2 short videos, a total of 2 minutes and 4 minutes. And then I'm going to do a slideshow. So even if you didn't study, a lot of the questions are from what you're learning right now. So that's a hint. Jeopardy is going to be really hard. So I'm going to have teams, okay? So we're going to have a good time and we're going to be able to learn. Amen. So let me do this first. So this one's 2 minutes long.
For thousands of years, Jerusalem, the holiest city in the world, has been fortified and protected by high stone walls. But during Nebuchadnezzar's 3 attacks on the city between 605 to 586 BC, the walls were breached and broken down. The temple was destroyed, the city was ransacked, and most of its citizens taken as captives to Babylon. During the next 70 years, while the Jews were in captivity, there was an empire leadership change. The Persians overthrew the Babylonians and took control of the then known world. And they gave the Jews permission to return and rebuild Jerusalem. When they arrived back in Jerusalem, they found the city laid waste, buildings in ruins, temple destroyed, culture and way of life gone, walls broken down. Zerubbabel, one of the Jewish leaders, oversaw the rebuilding of the temple, and Ezra, a priest and scribe, restored true worship and guided the people back to God's teachings. But the walls remained broken down and the gates burned. And without secure walls and gates, the city remained vulnerable to attack. People living in a city without a solid wall remained defenseless and humiliated. Nehemiah, a Jewish leader, held a high position in the palace of King Artaxerxes I back in Persia, serving as the royal cupbearer. When some of his friends and family visited him and told him about the broken down walls of Jerusalem, he was deeply saddened and...
Okay, so that's one, and then the other one.
Understand the book of Nehemiah, it's very helpful to come to grips with 3 realities. The first is where Nehemiah fits in the sweep of Old Testament history. Start with King David. He comes to the throne of Israel about 1,000 years before Christ. He has a son called Solomon. After these 2 kings, David and Solomon, the kingdom splits, it divides. And the northern tribes, called Israel, go off into more and more idolatry and mayhem and debauchery. In the south, the southern 2 tribes, going by the name of Judah, remain loyal to the Davidic dynasty. It takes them a little longer to descend into the same kind of idolatry, but that's the direction, I'm afraid. And then, at the same time, in the background, there are 3 regional superpowers we have to come to grips with. The first is the Assyrians. They are warlords, very powerful, and ultimately they destroy the northern kingdom. They take the leaders off into captivity, and the northern tribes really exist no more as a separate nation. That happens in 721 BC. The southern 2 tribes are destroyed by another superpower. The Assyrians are taken over by the Babylonians. And in 586 BC, the southern tribes are destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar, the monarch of the time of the Babylonian Empire. And again, the thinking at the day was that the way you pacify these new territorial acquisitions is by destroying some of the ties, the societal ties that hold things together. Land and religion and loyalty were tied together. Land, religion, people. If you could somehow pull out one piece of that, then the cohesion of the society broke down. So what these regional superpowers did was take off the leadership, the priests, the nobility, the rich people, the royalties, and they moved them off into other territories where they started over as dirt farmers. That left the poor people behind, the tradespeople, and there usually wasn't enough leadership then to break out into some sort of fomented rebellion. So that's what the Assyrians did, that's what the Babylonians did. But eventually the Babylonian Empire was itself taken over by the Persian Empire. And the first dominant king of Persia, King Cyrus, reversed this national policy. In 538 BC, he allowed the conquered peoples who had been moved forcibly into other lands, he allowed them to return. And in the providence of God, the exiles from Israel and Judah were likewise allowed to return to the Promised Land. This return took place in 3 waves. The first was under the leadership of a man called Zerubbabel, and his account is preserved for us in Ezra chapters 1 to 6. About 70 years later, there was a second wave that came through under the leadership of Ezra the priest. And at that time, the temple was rebuilt. This is the time of the preaching of such prophets as Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, the closing books of the Old Testament. And some years later then, Nehemiah leads the third wave. Nehemiah was an administrator. He was not a priest, he was not a Bible teacher. He was an administrator, and he helped build the wall of the city of Jerusalem.
Okay. So that's a little bit of background history. Now let me go to the slideshow. I guess here. Here. And here. And here.
That's Greek, right? Greece. Santorini is called, it's very famous. Very beautiful.
Okay, so Nehemiah was written by Ezra, for those people that didn't know that. So we saw in the history, Ezra was a few years before. So the first time Zerubbabel was able to come back and build the temple, where Ezra finished it off by training everybody on what they're supposed to do there, right? So this is all happening right before Nehemiah.
You won't believe this, Jesse, but
Yes.
if you go and research that, you will get some feedback saying that Nehemiah wrote the book.
Ah,
And
okay.
you know who made that mistake?
Who?
GPT.
Oh, yeah. Chat GPT? Okay. So, yeah, a lot of books are written by the author, the name of the book, but it's not always the case like in here. So we saw in the videos that the Israelites had been scattered. Nehemiah means comforter of Yahweh. The exiles were returning to Jerusalem. So that's what's going on here. Jerusalem's wall had been destroyed by the Babylonians back in the time. And very interesting, this is the last chronological order book. So the last things that happened in the Old Testament happened during Nehemiah, then it skips all the way to Matthew. Okay, so in the Bible book itself, it's in the kind of the middle of the Old Testament because they didn't put it in the order of things happening. So just so you know, this is right. So 400 years later, here comes Jesus. So one out of some 2 or 3 million Jews that were deported in the land by the Babylonians, only 50,000 decided to return, which was something like 2%. So a lot of people did not return. They already had generations on other lands. They made their living somewhere. Nehemiah was one of them. He was a cupbearer. That's a pretty good job for the king. So they're already moved on. In the first part of the Nehemiah, they come to him and they tell him some stories about bad things are happening back in Jerusalem, that there are no secure gates and they're to make safe from their enemies. And so he calls upon God when he hears this. And he tells God reads back to God what God had told them, that if they're bad, they're going to be scattered. But if they're good, he's going to pick them up and put them back where they belong and heal their land. So he went in, first thing he did was cry. Then he went ahead and started praying and fasting. And he did this for about 4 months. And he also did something important. He also told God, I know why you're doing this. It's our own fault. We failed you. We committed all these sins. We kind of deserve this, but now give us another chance, pretty much. So the Jerusalem, this all, of course, has to do with spiritual walls too. We know that God had warned in Chronicles of all these things that were going to happen. We know in a lot of the Old Testament talks about what happens with the Babylonians, what happens with the Assyrians, what happened with the Persians, all these things in history. So we have to learn that we also have walls, right? And sometimes we need to break down those walls before we could rebuild it. So that's what's happening a lot in this, not literally, but figuratively. The walls of Jerusalem fell down because of their own issues, and now it's time to rebuild. Come back to God and start all over again. So how do you rebuild your own walls at home? You got to admit why the walls fell down, figure it out. You're going to cry about it, right? Because you're going to always feel sad when things come back and hurt you. That's a natural process. You have to go through kind of a mourning period. And today in our modern world, we're not comfortable with mourning, right? Me and Eddie are always like, okay, your husband dies and your job gives you 3 days. Like, what is that? Like, let's go. This world doesn't want you to dwell. They just want you to be okay. But sometimes it takes time, and that's okay. So God welcomes you during those tough times, and always with your broken spirit and contrite heart. And you seek God for assistance in everything we do. So then he also included other people in prayer, which is really nice. Nehemiah didn't only pray for himself, because like I said, he has a good job, he's doing well, but he's thinking of his people, he's thinking of community, and that's important for him. So he makes sure, like I said here, he's not a priest or anything, but he definitely is a leader. He definitely knows how to command respect and get things done. We'll see that throughout these chapters. And so he showed all these leadership skills. We already know we're going to be in good hands. He's humble, right? He admitted the bad things. He's patriotic. He cares for his Jerusalem. He has energy. He's unselfish because he's about to give up this cushy job to go do something almost impossible. He knows he needs people. He knows he needs God. And he considers other people's in his plans too. So King Artaxerxes was the one, he was the cupbearer for, who was the king of Persia at that time. The cupbearer was very important. He selected the wine, he tasted it, and made sure it wasn't poisoned and everything was good. He was the stepson of Queen Esther. So you guys remember Queen Esther from when we went to the play? So King Artaxerxes is her stepson. And another very important point is that cupbearer was also like a confidant. He knew everything that's going on. He was always there. And the king would sometimes ask him for advice and things like that. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And now we're going to go to the fun part. So we're going to have teams again. Deanna, is Abel there with you, or he's not home? Okay. So we're going to have teams. I have to share again. Okay, so let me see how many teams we can have. I think we're going to need 5 teams today because we have a lot of people. So Deanna and Abel, you are team Tar Heels. Okay, team number 1 is the team Tar Heels, and Deanna's not a sports fan, so she's looking perplexed, but that's okay.
I actually knew that. Abel said, "Who's that?" And I said, "North Carolina is Tar Heels is a sports team." Thank you.
Hey, Renee, can you go downstairs with Brandon? And you're going to be team Bachelors.
Team Bachelors, okay.
Team Bachelors.
All right, so now we have Edlin, George, Nina, and Ralph is gonna be Team Blue. Team Blue.
Oh, wow, bro, yeah.
I got you two here.
I'm the man. You got them.
No, he's for them.
Oh, I see.
And then that's team 3.
Okay.
Remember your numbers, because I'm gonna forget. Team number 4 is David and Eddie. Team Get It.
My brother. You do good. Don't worry, we got it, my brother. We got it.
And then finally, I think the only is Joel's not there anymore. Okay, Hannah and Jonathan is Team Rockaway. All right,
Oh, wow.
the team number 5.
She made it.
So I said it's hard, so make sure you talk to each other before you answer. If you get it wrong, it goes to the next team, okay?
Oh, okay.
Except there's
On that
one,
order.
there's one that's like a true and false, so that's the one time only. And there is a final Jeopardy, so don't be dismayed if you fall behind.
Okay.
Just connected.
What happened?
Turned off.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Our screen turned off on the TV.
Oh, we can see it on our screen, but
All right, so Team Tar Heels. Where do you want to start? And obviously, number 1 is the easiest and 500s is the hardest. But you don't have to form in a question. I'm going to ask a question, you just answer. Oh, wait, there's somebody in chat. Change the share screen to screen 2. Do you guys see the Jeopardy on there?
yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. For some reason, people here can't see it.
300.
People 300.
Change the share screen to screen 2.
Hold on, I have to change the shared screen or something because people here can't see it. But there's nothing here at all. It's turned off.
No, it's not.
Oh,
You probably have to do what Brandon said so that we see it on TV.
no, but that's the screen.
No, it's okay because it's a web one.
We see it with the computer. It's all right. We see it in the computer. Turn it this way.
Just read it to us.
Okay. There, we're just gonna use the one here. Okay. So what do you want, Team Tar Heels?
20. I see it, but you see it, right?
They said.
Which one?
People 300.
Oh, 300. Everybody else, please do not answer. Who wrote the book of Nehemiah?
Ezra.
Very good. That's a 300? Where's the thing that says, press the space bar? Okay, great. Yes. Or you can hit back to, isn't there things or escape? Okay, the next team, number 2, Team Bachelor, where do you want to go? You're muted.
Only 500 people.
500 people. What was the king Nehemiah worked for?
Wait.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Say it loud.
Xerxes.
Very good. People are paying attention. I like it. Number 3 was Team Blue. Where do you want to go? Your Team Blue?
People again.
How much?
400.
400? Which Babylonian king destroyed Jerusalem's walls and took the people captive? Shush, shush, shush. If you get it wrong, it's negative. Remember that.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna go with Zerubbabel.
Incorrect. Sorry.
Now, can I steal or we
Yeah.
pick away?
Yes, because you're next.
Okay, but that would take away my choice, like, why would I pick? Okay, Nabucodonosor.
Oh, yes, Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah,
400.
Is it?
yes. So now Team Rockaway's turn. What's the last? Oh, that column's empty. The right one? Yeah, that's Final Jeopardy only.
People 200.
Oh, we like people, huh? 200 for people. What Persian king allowed the Israelites to return?
Cyprus.
No.
Close enough.
Cyrus.
Close
Cyrus.
enough. Yes,
Cyrus.
Cyrus. Good enough. Wow, I'm impressed, people. I thought this was gonna be hard.
Dealing with smart people here.
Oh, boy. Okay, Team Tar Heels.
Was harder than 400.
Exactly.
You're muted.
Is it our turn again? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
1 second.
We don't see the last column. It's what is the name of the last column? And
Events 500.
why?
Events 500. Uh-oh. Zerubbabel and Ezra help rebuild what?
They help rebuild the walls of Israel.
No.
Incorrect.
Temple.
Yep.
Very good, Team Bachelor.
Yeah.
Whoa, they're going far. Okay, team number 3, which is Team Blue now. Go ahead and pick something.
Wait a second, we don't get a choice either?
No,
Oh.
Team Blue.
Yes, we cannot see the last column.
There's nothing there.
It's just final Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Which one?
Events
Events.
400.
Okay, events for 400. What empire allowed the Israelites to return?
You just can't discuss till it's our turn. Someone's gonna hear it. Why this?
We're gonna say the Babylonians.
No.
No.
The Medo Persa. Soy yo.
It's your turn.
The Medo Persa.
I'll accept it's Persian, but he.
What's that? Meadow.
What did
Is
you
this
say?
the
They
English?
were the Persian. They
Okay,
came
okay.
together and became the Persian.
All right,
Oh.
Team Rockaway.
Events
You be here, brother.
300.
Events 300. People are frisky today. How was Hanani related to Nehemiah?
That's his dad.
That is
No, that's his brother.
Team Targets, you want to take it?
It's his brother. There, you guys got the points.
Yeah, I can't hear, you're muted.
Oh, I knew the answer. I said it before he went. I didn't realize that I was allowed to go. Then it is his brother.
Okay, good. There you go. They were brothers.
You don't have to take the question. You could choose your own question
You-
on your turn. If
No,
you
you can skip. If you get it wrong, you can lose.
No,
You can
I'm
skip.
saying like, let's say number 3.
No. That's my game, my rules. All right.
Well, that's
Team
a
Bachelor.
for somebody. You know what I'm talking about?
It's just.
Yeah, you're right. It's a
understand.
disadvantage if you answer it instead of being able to pick the next category. That's what you're trying to
No, but
say.
you got
But it's
your-
okay. It's okay.
All right, bachelors. What do you want?
Oh, well, we'll go, geography 5.
Geography 500, pushing the envelope. What were the 3 conquering powers that ruled over Israel?
Go ahead.
So we got the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and the Persians.
They're knocking it out.
That's a good answer.
That's good.
That is the only answer.
Assyrians, Babylonian, Persians. Very nice.
Up there.
All right, Team Blue, you come on. Represent. Okay.
But we don't have to answer if we want.
No, if you don't know it, you could just skip it. What was the capital city of Persia where Nehemiah worked?
No.
That's it. She said an answer. Is it right or wrong?
It's wrong.
It's not incorrect. It is the citadel, but it's a name. Citadel just means capital. What? Susa, she got
Yeah,
it.
that's the one.
Very good.
And
But what is first answer?
It's just a game.
No way. You
Whatever.
only somebody want to hold you, buy the one hold you. My brother, you want to go for 500?
My team
Fix
get
it
it.
for an answer.
Okay, we're gonna go for random 500.
Oh. Which of God's promises did Nehemiah bring to God's attention during the prayer?
That if the people in the chapter of 2nd of Chronicle 2:14, if my people that I call by my name, if they repent and call upon my name.
Very nice.
My brother, I love this game, my brother. Like a brother. I
Get all the 500. Keep dropping it in everyone's face right now.
Oh,
Dropping it in.
See, Rockaway, discuss before we go now. People 100.
My brother.
Who was the main character?
The main character, yeah, that's easy.
Answer.
You are so rude.
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah is the main
You're such
character.
a sore loser.
Not really, I said the correct answer before I was even.
Okay, I got 400 points.
Now you're fun.
All right, we're gonna go back to team number 1, which was
I
Tar
want you
Heel.
to get a second chance.
Tar Heels.
Whatever the first thing you say, that's
Random 400.
Random for 400.
Oh, Jingo is following my
What was
lead.
Nehemiah's father's name?
Hakaliah.
Very good.
I don't know.
Very nice. She pronounced it right and everything. All right, team bachelors. You might want to take it a little easy now. You're in the lead, but it's up to you.
Geography 300.
Which one? Geography 300? What empire had scattered the people of Judea?
Oh, I know that one.
Nope.
That is incorrect. Sorry.
Too bad.
Already answered.
Hey, I had my muted. I wanted to talk to my partner. What is this?
That's it.
That's unfair. If I was in North Carolina, nobody would even know what had happened.
That's
So
it.
this,
Too bad. Too bad.
Babylonian.
Babylonians, correct.
There's no muting up here, so.
Somebody big.
I know. After this.
You gotta take when you get it. Right?
My brother,
Team get
you want to go random 300?
Yeah.
300 random. Let's see.
Okay. The walls of Jerusalem were broken. What happened to the gates?
Burned.
Whoa!
My brother was burned.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for coming over to Bachelor.
Oh,
Don't worry, we got Final Jeopardy, guys. All right, go ahead, Team Rockaway.
Go ahead.
I'm not a partner anymore.
I'm playing.
No, you're not.
I think, girl.
Random 100.
Random 100.
yeah.
What percent of the exiled Jews had returned to Jerusalem?
Oh. 1 out of every 5 or 6, or what was it? 1 out of every 2 or 3.
2%.
Why did it say that? Then why didn't you say you know the answer?
Oh my God.
yeah, did we get the seal or what?
Hills, 10 Tar Heels.
I don't know.
He was muted. They were muted. They were talking among each other, man. Gee.
It's 2%.
Yeah, they got it.
Hey, I give you the sign.
He's a loser, sore loser.
I can't say anything, or.
All right, it's our turn.
Good answer.
Geography 200.
Which one?
Geography 200.
Geography 200. The Israelites in Jerusalem that survived were referred to as the
No, I got it. My turn up. I got this. You fry, man. That's it.
Get
Skip.
this,
Go ahead.
The remnants.
The remnant.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Nice. That's the name of the movie, The Remnant.
That was good. You're out of
With the
you're
caption.
out of the negatives.
Oh, wow, Rob, you are really negative.
But we're never in negative. All right, team, get it?
Think of it, we go 200 event around. Which one? Okay, I follow the lead of my brother here.
Nehemiah is early or late in the Old Testament history?
It's the last book, you said it, you said it.
Whoa, good job.
Last book of the Old Testament, but it's not in that chronological order. It's
Very
limited.
good. All right, and the last one, because we don't have another way to go around. Go ahead. Geography. Oh, wow. Is Judah part of the north or the south? She said it right away. The south
No,
is
it was
correct.
north.
No.
That's
All
right.
right, we take a random 200.
No, that's it. We're done because we can't go back.
It's our turn.
It's our
isn't it?
turn.
No, but we can't.
You were team number one.
But, yeah.
Fine, but then they can't go. That's
No,
all.
wait a
No,
second.
nobody's going. Nobody's going.
Wait a second. This is
Wait.
because people still lose their turn.
Huh?
That's not my
Exactly. That
fault
was what your
people
dad
missed
was
the
trying to say
question.
before.
It's not my fault people missed the
That doesn't
question.
matter.
It's
Last
over.
is
It's
disadvantage.
over. So this one happened to be, what was Nehemiah's initial action to the news of the condition in Jerusalem?
I'll answer.
What was it?
I can't point.
No, no points, just answer it.
He prayed.
He was
No.
broken, he was broken.
Oh, what?
And number one here was, what was Nehemiah's job? Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so now what I need you to do, Renee and Brandon, text me how much you want to wager. Okay, for Final Jeopardy.
13.
Text it now. Deanna, text how much you want to wager. You could wager up to 600. Brandon and Renee, you could wager up to 1,200. You guys could write it down for me over here in live person. Hold on, let me get a piece of paper. Yeah, paper and pen.
Can't wager anything. We have 0 points.
0 point?
You can
Yeah.
only wager,
What, you all too?
you
Well,
can
how
only
much
wager your life.
Yeah, man,
How
first
much
place,
you want to
man.
bet and get the guy out? How much we have? You
You
have,
can wager your life.
you have 100. And you guys have 1,800.
We have 100, we answered 3, correct?
You were in negative when you answered.
And you
that
got
question.
one wrong, I think.
You
You got
had
one
2
wrong.
cards in the beginning.
And you
We're
just
gonna
got
have
one.
We're gonna
Here,
play.
You can win.
Figure.
Yeah.
Here's 100 points.
Yeah,
They both get it wrong and they go all in.
yeah.
If they go all in, both of them, and they get it wrong, you technically could win.
They're gonna calculate it, so they'll always go.
Okay, so Deanna and Brandon. Deanna,
Gave them a strategy.
you first, please.
What?
Don't tell nobody. I got Deanna and I got Abel and Brandon's,
All in, baby.
What are we supposed to do? Write the answer down on a piece of paper?
No, you text it also.
Oh, okay.
Say it out loud.
No, don't say it out loud. Okay. Now you're gonna write it down. Don't say it out loud. Write it down. Don't say it out loud.
The answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, hold this.
What's
Wait,
the,
you already said the question?
what's the question?
I'm gonna say it now. I needed
I thought you were saying you already
Oh,
told
okay.
us.
I needed the bets first. Okay, so now we're gonna go with the question. You have about 1 minute. Don't say it out loud. Write it or text it.
Give it a pen.
Write it or text it. Month and year that this chapter takes place.
Baby.
The first sentence in the chapter, the month and the year. It was the first chapter in the sentence.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, that's Final Jeopardy.
No.
Oh, Nina knows it. Nina knows it.
O ponle que lo que va.
Creo que debe escribir.
¿Cómo puede que mira la
The month and the year that is mentioned in the first sentence, this happened. The story starts, blah, 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 in the citadel of Susa.
Well, they can look it up in the book.
Are you
Right.
watching them on the camera if they're looking it up?
No, they're not.
He's not watching them.
Yeah.
That's true, but God knows. It's okay. I trust Deanna. Deanna doesn't cheat. Right, Deanna?
What about the bachelors?
Right.
Well, look, the bachelors look very.
The bachelors don't cheat either.
Then why are they downstairs?
I'm just waiting for Nina to write. Give it to me.
Why did you?
Eddie?
I tried, but.
I looked it up already. I know that answer.
If somebody gets this, they looked it up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's that hard.
Whoever knows January is correct.
It's tough.
Okay, so we're gonna start with team number 3, which was Team Blue, right?
Yeah.
And Team Blue said. Did he say 9 months?
9 months for the 9 small or the you kind of the 20.
No, that's not correct.
So they use some.
And they bet it all.
They got half point.
So that's 0 points. Okay, then we have to go to team 1. Team Tar Heel said 20th year of Kislev.
Who wrote that?
That is correct.
That was the bachelors?
No, that was Deanna. So Deanna bet $600. So she has $1,200, all right? Deanna has 1,200. All right, so then we go to team 2, the bachelors. The bachelor said they didn't put the city and they put 599, 601, and then 539, which are all.
What? They did the years in the video.
And
I-
they bet us.
I put the bets there. Do you not even look at my bet? Like, what's wrong with this game, man?
So that is incorrect. All right, and finally, the 4th team, which is Team Get It, said Nissan, which is Passover, not really this chapter. And they bet. They bet 700, so the winner is Team Tar Heels.
The team won because the
So where do you want your donation, Team Tar Heels?
Yeah, and we ended at what, with 600?
No. We ended up with 599.
Nicaragua.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm gonna stop recording now. We're gonna close up. Thank you. I know this was kind of long. But thank you for bearing with me here. I just have to hit stop recording.
You're the one.